Islandora Context extends the Drupal context module to recognize Islandora-specific contexts and actions. Basically, it lets you control how objects are displayed based on certain contextual criteria. You can enable it at the Modules menu, and you will need at minimum the modules Context, Context UI, and of course, Islandora Context. There are some other submodules you can also enable at your discretion, but those are the ones you need at least. Once they're enabled, you can access context under the Structure menu. So Structure, Context. All of the different contexts that you have created will be listed here. Right now we don't have any, so we'll click Add. So some of the Islandora related conditions that you can choose from include if a collection is empty, if the object belongs to a certain collection, if the object you're looking at has a particular content model, if it's an Islandora object to begin with instead of a Drupal page, if it has a particular namespace, or various other criteria. And once that particular condition is met, there are reactions you can specify that Drupal will take when displaying the object, such as displaying particular blocks, using some custom CSS from the CSS injector module. You could tell it to hide certain metadata. You could tell it to add extra text into the object's display, or you could tell it to use a particular metadata display profile, among, again, plenty of other things. So to demonstrate one particular common application of it, let's say that we want to use a specific metadata display profile for objects just in one particular collection. Normally, Solar metadata displays, let's take a look at them under Islandora Solar Index Metadata Display, are based on content model associations. So if you associate a given metadata display profile with a content model, such as this citations profile associated with the citation content model, that is the display that's used for every object with that content model. With Islandora Context, you can specify which display profile that you want to use based on whatever criteria, contextual criteria that your objects have to meet. So to do this, we need two separate metadata display profiles, which I've created already. We've got the citations profile and the special citations profile. So under the citations profile, you can see that it is associated with the citation content model. In a normal setup, this means that all citation objects will use this profile to display their metadata. That means every citation object will display, if the fields exist, an author, an editor, a publisher, a rights field, and a title. For example, on this citation object, those are the fields that display. On this special citation object, which is the one I want to change, those fields display as well. But with these special objects, I want to display them differently. So these are objects that live in the special citation collection here. For them, I want to display only the abstract. So that's why I've created this special citations profile, and it only has the abstract field. The solution to this is Islandora Context. Now, for this particular task, we need to first tweak the metadata display settings in order to recognize Islandora Context. So we go to Islandora Metadata Display. You can see the standard options are available here, plus one extra one. It defaults to Dublin Core. You probably have Islandora Solar Metadata, which is what allows you to use those profile options in the first place. But we're going to switch to Islandora Solar Metadata managed by Islandora Context. that allows context to control the metadata displays. Next, let's set up our new context rule. So back to structure, context, and add. I'll call this special citation display. And our condition here is, well, I want to use this new profile for objects that are in a particular collection. So we'll choose Islandora Collection Membership. You'll get a list of collections that are available. Let's find the special citation collection there. Check it off. So for every object in the special citation collection, I want to take a particular reaction. The reaction in this case is we want to use an Islandora Solar Metadata configuration. So if I click on that, you get a list of the metadata profiles that are available. We'll choose Special Citations. Save it. Now this context is there, it's active. Let's take a look at our two citation objects. Here's our normal citation object, author, editor, publisher rights, and it's still using author, editor, publisher rights title, just as before. It's using the standard citation metadata display profile. Now let's look at our special citation that we wanted to change and refresh the page. Now it's showing the abstract, which means that it's using the special metadata display profile. And you can use context to do a whole bunch of other things with Islandora objects. That's just one example, but there are lots. You can change themes, you can display blocks, all kinds of fun stuff.